Have you ever thought about the difference between a life of a hearing person and a life of a deaf person? You wake up in the morning and you hear all of the beautiful sounds around you, and you don't even notice them. But if life goes completely silent someday, then you will realize how much you were lucky. As humans, we tend to notice the unusual or the unique things. We don't notice the things that are always there until they are gone. We notice being sick because it's unusual. We notice a specific compliment because it's unusual, because it proves someone was actually paying attention. Mark Twain once said, "I can live for 2 months on a good compliment." Think about that. Not money, not success, not a vacation, a compliment. 2 months of emotional fuel from a single sentence. Hello, I'm Akil and this is my channel, The Quiet Space. Last episode we talked about the 5 love languages and why people who deeply love each other can still make each other feel completely unloved. Today we go inside the first one, words of affirmation. For some people, words are the only real proof that love exists. You can buy them gifts, you can spend time with them, you can do everything right. But if you never say it, if you never put it into words, their love tank stays empty. Let me tell you about a woman who walked into Jerry Chapman's office one day. She sat down and said, "Dr. Chapman, I have a problem. I cannot get my husband to paint our bedroom. I've been asking for 9 months. I've tried everything. Nothing works." Last Saturday was a perfect day, beautiful weather, and you know what he did all day? He washed and waxed the car. Chapman asked, "What did you do?" I went outside and said, "Bob, I don't understand you. Today was perfect for painting the bedroom, and here you are washing the car. Did he paint the bedroom? No, it's still not painted." Chapman gave her 2 pieces of advice. Don't ever mention the bedroom again. He already knows you want it painted. You have told him for 9 months. More words won't change that. The next time your husband does anything good, anything at all, give him a genuine verbal compliment. If he takes the garbage out, say, "Bob, I really appreciate you taking that out." If he pays a bill, put your hands on his shoulder and say, "I hear there are husbands who don't do that. I want you to know how much I appreciate it." She left unconvinced. 3 weeks later, she came back and said it worked. The bedroom got painted not because she nagged more, but because she finally spoke a language her husband could actually hear. This isn't about flattery. The goal of love is never to get something. It is to give something. But when people feel seen, they naturally want to give back. That's just how love works. Giving a verbal compliment is only one way to express words of affirmation to your spouse. Another dialect is encouraging words. All of us have areas where we feel insecure, dreams we haven't chased because we didn't believe we could, potential that's sitting quietly waiting for someone to say, "I see it, I believe in you, take the step." Alison had always liked to write. She submitted an article to a magazine once, got rejected, and she never had the courage to submit another one. Now that the children were older and she had more time to contemplate, Alison was again writing. Her husband Keith picked one of her articles one night, read it quietly, then walked into the room where she was sitting and said, "I hate to interrupt, but I have to tell you this. I just read your article. Alison, you are an excellent writer. This needs to be published. You write clearly, you paint pictures with words. You have to submit this." This conversation happened 14 years before Chapman wrote about it. In these 14 years, Alison had published numerous articles and signed a book deal. One conversation, 14 years of courage. That's what the right words can do. Just to be clear, I'm not talking about pressuring your spouse to do something just because you want it. I'm talking about supporting a desire or interest they already have. For example, some husbands pressure their wives to lose weight and say, "I'm encouraging her," but to the wife it may feel more like criticism or condemnation. Encouragement only works when the person already wants to make the change. Until they have that desire, your words can come across as preaching, and preaching rarely feels encouraging. Most of the time time it sounds like judgment, creates guilt, and communicates rejection instead of love. Another dialect is kind words. This one is about tone, not content, because the same sentence can mean two completely different things depending on how you say it. Don't worry, I will do it. Said gently, it sounds like support. Said with an eye roll, it sounds like blame. Chapman makes a point that stays with me. We can share hurt, we can share pain, we can even share anger, and all of those can still be expressions of love if we deliver them with kindness. I felt hurt when that happened is intimacy. I can't believe you did that is war. If words don't come naturally to you, start collecting them. Write down every affirming sentence you hear. In time, you will have a language you can actually speak. And sometimes the most powerful words are the ones said when your spouse isn't in the room. Tell her mother how great she is. Tell his friend what he means to you. Eventually it gets back to them and carries twice the weight, because you said it when you had nothing to gain. Words of affirmation has many dialects: compliments, encouragement, kindness, indirect praise, written words that gets read over and over again. But here is the thing about dialects: you can know all of them, you can understand every single one, and still completely miss the person standing right in front of you. Chapman once visited a couple whose marriage was completely falling apart. 12 years, 2 children, they disagreed on everything. The only thing they shared was love for their kids, and the feeling that their love tanks were empty. Chapman sat with each of them separately and listened. Bill said, "She's a good mother, great housekeeper, but there is simply no appreciation for anything I do. I work every day and there is nothing coming back." Betty Jo said, "He's a great provider, but he does nothing at home, and he never has time for me. What's the point of having everything if we never enjoy it together?" Chapman made a single suggestion to each of them: stop focusing on what the other person isn't doing. Find one thing, one specific thing they do well, and say it out loud twice a week for 2 months. 2 months later, Chapman called them back. Bill said, "She made me feel like a man again. We have got a ways to go, but I believe we are on the right road." Betty Jo said, "It's improved some. He's giving me compliments now, but Dr. Chapman, he's still not spending any time with me. We never actually do anything together." And that's when Chapman understood something he hadn't fully seen before. The love language of one person is not necessarily the love language of another. Bill needed words, Betty Jo needed something else entirely. And that something else is what we will talk about next time. I think about the people in my own life who speak this language, and I wonder how many times I had the words and just didn't say them. Not because I didn't care, but because it didn't occur to me that I needed to hear it. So words of affirmation isn't just about being nice. It's about understanding that for some people, words are not decoration, they are oxygen. They can't fully feel love without them, and no amount of actions, no amount of gifts, no amount of time spent together will fill a tank that runs on words. So if someone in your life speaks this language and you have been silent, you now know why they have felt empty, and you know what it cost you to change that. Not money, not time, just the courage to say what you actually feel out loud. If this episode meant something to you, I read every comment.